Welcome to Venture Forum. I'm Nadia Aljamal, and I have joined with me Linda Kim. She is the founder of Olive Gold Properties, an Airbnb arbitrage business. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
So I understand that you were in the corporate world before getting into the Airbnb business. At what point did you feel like you wanted to make that switch?
Yeah, so I was in the 9 to 5 for a really long time, and that's just what I was used to. So I hired a mentor that I saw on Instagram, and I'd never done that before. But I just felt like I was meant to do something more in my life. I wanted to create more wealth and just do something that was different. So that's kind of what inspired it.
Before you got into the Airbnb, did you look at any other businesses that maybe you were interested in? Like, how did you hone? I know you stumbled across it through Instagram, but did you look at any other businesses before choosing Airbnb?
It sounds funny, but that really was my motive. So I think,
It's okay.
yeah.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. I know there's so many different things online right now with drop shipping and flipping houses, and everyone's kind of trying to, see what they can do. So I looked at all that stuff too, but Airbnb arbitrage, something about that stood out because I felt like I didn't have to use as much capital. I didn't have to go through the, process of purchasing a home, flipping it, going through months of renovations, maybe it doesn't sell. And arbitrage just seemed like the easier way to go. So that's kind of why I came across that.
So, lifestyle. It was aligned with your lifestyle.
100%. Yeah, exactly. And drop shipping, I think you still kind of have to, you're kind of still working a little bit where you're putting everything together, packaging it up and all that. And Airbnb arbitrage, once you set up the system, it's pretty much passive. So that's really what attracted me to it.
Nice. I feel like sometimes some of the reasons why people stray away from the arbitrage is they feel like, is the owner gonna know? So how do you find that? Is it easy to find owners that are open?
Yeah, that's such a common question that I get. Oh, do they actually know what you're doing? Are you doing it like secretly? And I was like, no, I can't build a business secretly doing things behind people's back.
Yeah.
But there's a way to pitch it where it's a benefit to them. And so they actually end up liking the model, and every landlord has renewed their lease because
wow.
yeah, it's such a great partnership that you're keeping their home in such good shape because it looks like it's staged year round because your business depends on it.
Right.
Versus a long-term tenant comes in and you don't know what the family's doing in there. They could be trashing the home and you come in a year later and you have to fix everything.
It's a constant checking in. What exactly were you doing in the corporate world before you started Airbnb?
Yeah, so it was a completely different industry. I was in tech. So I did everything from graphic design, marketing, web to creative director. I was managing a team of designers. And I was at Amazon, Microsoft because I'm from Seattle.
Okay.
But I also did entertainment. So worked in the gaming industry. So kind of all across the board. And yeah, so I had a team of doing that and thought that I was climbing the ladder there because obviously in corporate, if you want to make more money, you have to get a raise.
Right.
Like someone else is in control of you making more money versus arbitrage, you just go get another house. So I was just kind of trying to climb the ladder and then I was at a cap. So
you're like, I'm going to create my own ladder.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I like that. I know you mentioned writing down your goals. How important do you feel that has been with your success?
I feel like it's helped so much because I used to do it a long time ago, more not so much intentionally. I don't know where I got it from, but every time, even a long time ago, I would do it. And back then I didn't really look back at it. I would find it like a year later and see, oh my God, I actually accomplished most of these. But now I do it more intentionally, but I feel like it's so powerful. And even it sounds so silly. It sounds like, oh, I'm just going to write this down. It's going to happen. That doesn't even seem like that's going to happen, but it does. So it makes you more clear. So you really think about what you want. And then when you look at it here and there, you're reminded of what it is. And so putting it on paper makes all the difference. And yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's cliche.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, write your goals down.
Yeah.
But until you actually do it,
Yeah.
you're able to look back at it and be like, wow, I actually did that.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. So it sounds like you started it off more of just like, let me just do it. And now you doing it more purposefully. You're like,
yeah.
you see the value in it.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I hired a business coach last year.
Okay.
Because I was already writing them down.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times I would check off most of it, the things I wrote down, even though when you write them down, you feel like it might not ever happen, but it's crazy how it works. And so my coach last year said to get more specific. So I started doing that and yeah, it's been amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And I feel like those are the things that maybe are not specifically about Airbnb, but there are a lot of things outside that you can do that help reach your goals.
Yeah, exactly.
How important has your mentorship that you've done before. How do you feel it's helped you?
It completely changed my life. 'Cause,
Okay.
you know, I'm a big believer that even one decision, one person, one word can change your entire life. It's crazy. And so I hired him thinking that let me just try to make some extra cash flow. And he was a stranger. I didn't know his credibility. And even when I hired him, it was a big investment. And my friends were saying to go get my money back, like, what if it's a scam? But my intuition was saying, just do this thing. And so I didn't realize that it would be so much more than hiring someone to teach me how to build Airbnb business. It changed my mindset. It made me more confident over time because I realized, oh, I can actually do this by myself. And I wouldn't have learned what I learned if I just went to YouTube. And it would have taken me way longer. I might have not made as much money, or I might have given up feeling like, okay, this is too hard for me. I come across a lot of people that try Airbnb and they're like, oh, I just stopped doing it because it's too hard. But for me, I feel like it's really easy because I learned the system through my mentor.
Nice.
And I was able to launch within a few weeks of just doing that coaching program. So,
Wow.
yeah.
What did it take from start to launch within those? What did you do within those few weeks?
Yeah, so we learned how to negotiate, how to pitch to the landlord. And so I was in my pitching class in the second week and I just thought, I don't have sales background. I was really shy growing up and I don't have.
I can't tell, by the way. I
Oh,
can't
that's a big
tell.
compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was scared of, cold calling. I was like, I don't even know this industry. How am I going to go sell this to strangers? But I just really had the mindset of, okay, I'm just going to do what he tells me to do. And so I went out and started pitching and started getting properties in that second week of the program. And I took them. So the business basically started on week 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's important when you're starting off in anything. Just don't have to overcomplicate it. Find somebody who's already done it and just
Exactly.
copy paste it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To reinvent
Exactly.
the wheel. We all want to like reinvent the wheel, but why not just
Exactly.
like find somebody who's done it and
Yeah.
just replicate it?
Exactly.
So with that being said, I know that you have your own mentorship program because you've been very successful in this business. Do you offer in your mentorship program?
Yeah, so I do start off with mindset too, because I feel like it can make or break your whole business. And I realized how powerful it was for me when I learned that. Because before that, I think I had my own mindset naturally, but I never read all those books that I read that I was supposed to read through my mentorship, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and all the classics changed my life. And it really teaches you to be more consistent and not give up. And, you don't take no as a bad thing. And so I learned all that stuff. And so I'm teaching that in the beginning too. And then I teach everything from how to negotiate, how do you pitch to the landlord, what kind of properties do you look for, SEO pricing, how do you set up your system so you can scale and everything's automated so you can be more passive in your business.
Nice.
Yeah.
If, let's say, somebody was to start up in the program and they've never been in sales, so they don't know how to call and negotiate, how do you prepare somebody to set up and be prepared to negotiate with the landlords? Because you want to make sure that things are profitable.
Yeah.
So negotiating, I'm sure, plays a big role.
Yeah, definitely. So first I'll go in and look through the tools that I teach. So you'll look through the tools to see the data of which areas you want to choose. And then you kind of have an understanding of what it should cost. And so when you find the properties, you already kind of know, is this overpriced or not? And then so that kind of makes you more confident too, because you're going in knowing the numbers. And so you start pitching. I teach kind of the psychology behind negotiating, not just saying, oh, can I put your house on Airbnb, which is the worst thing to say. So don't ever say that.
Yeah.
And then you start with even just how you say it. How do you speak? How do you start off? So the little tactics, I teach that with negotiating. And then you go into kind of talking numbers after that. And then if you're pitching to your company, you also want to say the benefits for them. Like, how am I helping you if you lease your property to me?
Yeah. How are you providing value to them?
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with your Airbnb arbitrage business, because there's so many people doing it, what makes yours unique?
Yeah, so there's so many people doing it, and I feel like it is more of a male-dominated industry from
Okay.
my understanding, from what I've seen, and even mine and some other ones that I've seen, they don't really teach design much. And I started my design business because I started designing my own properties, and that turned into a whole business
Wow.
on the other side. So now I have people hiring me to do theirs. So I really incorporate that aspect into my mentorship because I feel like it's allowed me to make more. You can charge more. And I feel like it's the number one thing that you have to get down when you do Airbnb.
Yeah, I seen something that you posted. You said, somebody said, is this stage or is this
Oh,
how
yeah.
it really looks?
Yeah. Yeah. There was a guest trying to book, and I think his question was, are these real photos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a compliment. What would you say your typical student coming in? Are they somebody who's also maybe with a corporate background, or are there any other industries that are leaning in towards this Airbnb arbitrage?
Yeah, so that's a really good question because some people feel like I don't really know real estate. I don't know if I could do that. And so I would say anybody can do it because I had no knowledge. I didn't even know what arbitrage meant, honestly. So I was
Okay, you're like, let
completely
me look up arbitrage.
Yeah, let me-
101.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what is this?
Yeah, like I know what Airbnb is, but I don't know what arbitrage is and what does
Yeah.
that even mean? So people ask me that too, like, what? You can do that? Like I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
So basically anybody.
Yeah,
Anybody.
anybody. Yeah, I have clients that are
What are some example of
Yeah.
some students that what industries have they came from?
all across the board, which I love. I love hearing what I have had actually old bosses in tech reaching out.
Wow.
Some that had laid me off like 10 years ago. I've had stay-at-home moms with like 5 kids that want to create an income for themselves. And I had one that said that her husband was like, you're going to retire me, or that she's going to retire him.
Yeah.
I've had lawyers that want to leave their 9 to 5 and they're just working so many hours. Divorcees that they want to build their own company after they leave their marriage. I have people that are already entrepreneurs they already have all their businesses, but they're now taking another one on because they want to make passive income. So I think the biggest thing for people is feeling like, I don't have time right now. I'm so busy. I'm just going to wait. Let me just get back to you. And so I realized that I was going through divorce. It was really stressful. I had kids and I was in tech doing my 9 to 5 and I was still able to take my mentorship and create a business. So that made me realize that even if you have other stuff going on and all my clients are so busy, you just have to make the decision to do it because there's never going to be a right time.
You
So,
just have to put it in your mind that I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And it sounds like something you can incorporate, regardless of what's going on in your life.
Exactly.
So that's hopeful for people because sometimes things can feel a little overwhelming. So
yeah.
you need a little hand holding in the beginning. When somebody's looking to start up in this Airbnb arbitrage, what is a realistic number that people would start off with
Yeah.
to financially start?
Yeah, so I get that question a lot. And so compared to traditional real estate, you're not purchasing the home. So you need a lot less capital, which makes it really attractive to people that don't have as much money to get started. And that really allows you to scale as much as you want. So there's actually ways that you can acquire properties with zero capital and zero. So which is crazy. So if you do the method where you are using capital, you need money for the rent and the deposit. So let's say if the rent is 4,000, you need 8,000 for that. And then the furniture. So it's really low cost. So furniture is about 3 to 4 times the rent. And I think on average for a 3-bedroom home, you're looking around like 20 to 30K.
Where is your most of your Airbnbs located?
Yeah. So they're in California and Texas right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you expand to Texas?
Yeah. So I realized it was about a year later.
Okay.
Because I felt like, oh, let me just wait and see. It just sounds so overwhelming. But once I did it, I realized how easy it was. And people would tell me that have done it. They felt like it was even easier doing it out of state. And I was thinking like, I don't really understand that, but now I do because I didn't go back for almost a year. So once you set up your system, you can copy paste it anywhere you want in the world. So
Wow.
yeah.
So being it in Texas, do you ever feel like I'm so far from my property? But no, you're like, you feel like it's fine.
Because once you have your team in place, because
Okay.
the system that I teach to, it's automated. So you work in the beginning where you're setting everything up, the team and the property, but after that, it becomes passive. So you just repeat that same model out of state. And as long as they're solid, then you're okay.
Who are the people in your team? Like, who are your team players?
Yeah. So you have your virtual assistants,
Okay.
which is customer service.
Yeah.
And they do all the guest coordination, the cleaning team, and then the maintenance team. And so the communication, I used to do that in the beginning. That would take up more of my time, obviously. Not all the time, but I'm the one responding. And I actually liked it in the beginning because it was so new to me. And
And it's good to know and do it yourself before you
Yeah.
hand it off to somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because then you understand how to respond and everything. And it gives you a sense of pride, like ownership that, oh, this is my thing. Like, especially when you're new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. With the business, how many hours realistically are people spending on setting up the Airbnb and then also maintaining?
Yeah. So setup should take about a week on average. But now I've got it down to 1 to 2 days just because I learned how to make everything very efficient. So you could set it up pretty quickly within a few days. And then the part that people ask is it really just 2 to 3 hours a week of work? And it sounds insane. And even now I feel like it's crazy, but it really does because the system that you set up is automated. And so that I'm really just going on if I'm answering a question to my VA.
Okay.
Yeah, which is not some days we don't talk. So that really comes out to like maybe 2 hours a week, sometimes even one.
Yeah.
Which is
And
crazy.
then the longer the VA, she'll know
Yeah.
what you like and your preferences. And
Exactly. Because I've had people that say, oh, this, like I mentioned, they say it's so much work. So if you're not setting it properly, or a lot of people that go out and do it on their own, they don't really know how to create the system. So I think that's why they're working in the business and not on the business. And
that makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to set up systems so that we can
Exactly.
and then you're more of like checking in.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like people are open to investing into mentorships, or do you find that people maybe feel like it's not worth it?
I feel like there's two different mindsets.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would love to hear what you have to say on this, but I've gone to a lot of conferences lately, and every time there's a successful entrepreneur, they have been emphasizing the power of investing into mentorships, because it's like, even in a sport, you're not going to learn how to be the greatest sport like football player without your coach. And so investing into mentorship is changed my life, and your return, your ROI is huge. And it's changing your mindset. It's making you learn something a lot quickly instead of going through all these mistakes, which is going to cost you more money in the end. And it's going to give you the growth mindset.
There are some people that would see the value in investing in the mentorship, but don't. And I'm going to be a little blunt. It's just not even worth. I feel like trying to make people see the value in investing in their mind and their future and having the support, because you're going to have days where you're not going to have the best day, but then when you have that support there, I feel like will help push you through. And regardless, maybe you're the type of person who doesn't need support. You're like, I'm self-motivated. I don't need a rah-rah coach. I just need somebody maybe to like give me the blueprint. So regardless, I think of whatever somebody's motive behind wanting a mentorship, you have it there.
I love that. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you go, they call it YouTube University, even if you go there and you get your information for free, you don't, like you said, you don't have that person supporting you in the background on the days where you want to give up or it's hard. Because I have clients too that feel like, this is so hard. What if I never get a property, or I got rejected? And you have that person kind of reminding you of how to keep your mindset up and positive, which you're not really getting from a different source. And your friends or family, that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because everybody has their own goals in life, and your friends and family might be focused on a whole different mindset. And so you want to be around like-minded people. And sometimes you have to pay to get in those rooms. So
100%. Yeah.
And it's highly worth it. So
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And when I took my first mentorship, it was $30,000. And for me, that was a lot of money. I never had a coach. And so I don't know what made, I invested that much money at that point, but
that's not a small number.
Yeah.
That's a hefty number.
Yeah.
But good for you for seeing the value in it and taking the chance.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And people ask me, was it worth it? Now, 100%. It changed my entire life, because I realized it wasn't just like I mentioned, it wasn't just learning how to do Airbnb. It was my mindset, changed my life, mindset changed my circle of friends, my standards in life, my health, everything. And since then, I've actually invested a lot more into other coaches after that, because now I see the power of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Good to know about all that amazing information, so knowledgeable. Do you have any lasting words for the audience?
Yeah, so I would say that if you are thinking about doing something, that you should pursue it, because there's never going to be a right time. The right time is basically when you make the decision to do it. And also, if you want to learn more about Airbnb arbitrage, I would highly recommend it. If it's just changed my life, it gives you way more time freedom to do whatever you want. So I actually have a program called Airbnb or Mastery Society. And also you can find me on Instagram at Linda Kim.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Linda, for coming and joining me here. And I look forward to see you again soon.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. And I hope to see you too as well. Thanks.